In this video, we're going to introduce to you what lesson 3.3 is about. And so in this lesson today, your learning target is I can use converse theorems about lines and angles. So far, we've learned about our special angle pairs, and we've learned that if the lines are parallel, like they are in this picture, line P and Q, that there are some things that are true about our angle pairs. So if the lines are parallel, we have our corresponding angles theorem that's true, our alternate interior angles theorem, and our alternate exterior angles theorem. Remember, these theorems all state that these angle pairs, corresponding angles, alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angles, that you know the lines are parallel. If the lines are parallel, these angles are congruent. That's something we know is true. And similarly, with consecutive interior angles, you know that if the lines are parallel, these angles are supplementary. So now in this lesson, we're going to kind of think about it in another way. So let's say I have these two black lines here, and I'm not sure if they're parallel. Maybe they're parallel, maybe they're not. We're wondering, is there a way to use the angles to decide if the lines are parallel? So for example, if there was something true about these two blue angles, could I determine if the lines were parallel? So I'm going to open up this exploration here, and we're going to kind of test this out with some corresponding angles. So I'm going to form an angle here on this line. I'll make it about a 70 degree angle about. And I'm wondering, if I copy this angle, if I copy this same angle, this same measure right here, and I create another line through this angle, would that force my two lines to be parallel? If I zoom out, I can tell these two lines are parallel, right? So if my corresponding angles are congruent, that forces the lines to be parallel. So if I'm wondering, are lines parallel, I can go and I can look to see if the corresponding angles are congruent. And if they are, then my lines are parallel. And that's going to be true, that's going to be true for all of our special angle pairs. So here was what we stated just a second ago. If corresponding angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. And we call that the corresponding angles converse. That word converse is important here. That word converse is telling us that we're using the angles to prove that the lines are parallel. And so we have the corresponding angles converse. We also have the alternate interior angles converse and the alternate exterior angles converse. So if you know that alternate interior angles are congruent, or if alternate exterior angles are congruent, then you know the lines are parallel. And finally, we know the consecutive interior angles converse is true, that if you have a pair of consecutive interior angles, if they are supplementary, then you know your lines are parallel. So in this lesson, we're going to be using angles to determine whether the lines are parallel. And so just to summarize, in lesson 3.2, we were using these theorems, and we used those when we already know the lines are parallel. And in this lesson, we're using the converse theorems. We use these theorems when we are using angle measures to prove that the lines are parallel. And so in the next few videos that you're going to watch today, we'll be using those converse theorems to solve problems.